Hey, welcome back everybody to Flower Gold Wizard Channel. I'm Jason, part-time gold prospector based in Wisconsin. There goes Rigby, my mining partner. Today we're going to try a new spot I was invited to by Ryan. We're in a different part of the state, and he invited me up to one of his spots, and he showed me a picture of some of the gold he found. And we're going to go and see if we can't find a little something today off the cuff. We're going to do a little bit of prospecting rather than mining. But first, I want to show you something really cool that Ryan found out in the woods somewhere. Watch this. This is a piece of native Michigan float copper. Take a look at this thing. It is monstrous. There's my big old hand right there. Now he says this thing weighs how much?
41 pounds.
41 pounds, and he carried that thing a mile out of the woods. It is absolutely heavy, and that thing is quite valuable. I am 100% sure. If we find something like that today, I am just going to be out of my brain. That thing is fantastic. So we got our hellos and everything out of the way, and we're going to go out in the woods and see if we can't find some gold, or maybe a big chunk of that. Back in a bit. Well, we made it down to the creek. Rigby here is still on the hunt. We just made it down here, so he hasn't found us a good spot yet. I'll give you a little bit of a tour. Now, I just now stepped in the water. I haven't had a chance to do any looking around whatsoever. So I'm kind of relying on Ryan's intuition a little bit as well. Now I'm kind of panning off into the wilderness here, and it's a little bit tough to see on camera, but right there's a big hill that goes right up, and it runs along that way and that way. And this is a big old bench right up in here from 200 million years ago, or whenever. Well, it's got all these great big huge boulders scattered about in the woods. You can see those are all big boulders covered in moss. And on this side right here, the hill goes up that way. So in an extreme flood, this whole thing is probably underwater, I would imagine. And you know, 100-year flood type thing. So we're gonna poke around here and do a little bit of prospecting. You know, I brought, let's see, what did I bring here? I brought my classifier shovel and 2 pans. That's all I brought with. Well, I did bring my baby sluice here just in case we run into piles of nuggets, but I got my super sluice and my XP pan. So we're gonna look for color, black sand, etc. Then we're gonna look for somewhere to set up shop. Go get it, Rig. Back in a bit. All right. Well, I did do one test pan so far, and I didn't find any colors in it, but that was just the first shovel off the top. So I'm gonna try to get down a little bit deeper, and I'm trying to work the angle of this inside bend right here, coming down in a straight line off the bend right there. And I'll show you what I got in my pan for test pan number 2. To give you a little bit better of an idea, now this creek's coming down and around this way here. So what I want to do is I want to follow this in a straight line right off the tip of that inside bend right there, right here. And I notice that there's some bigger rocks right in line with this flow pattern I'm trying to establish here. So what I did is I took a shovel right out of behind this rock here. It's a little bit bigger than it looks. Let me see if I can get that up. See that? And I didn't get anything out of that one there. So I took another one good sized shovel deeper, and here's a look at the material we're getting out of there. It's quite sandy. It's granite sand, and there's a little bit of quartz and busted up quartz in there, mixed in with a few heavier rocks of whatever variety. There's some quartz in there. So we'll go ahead and we'll try to pan that one out, just like such. Now, just because if I don't find any gold in this one, that's not going to mean there's not gold in this creek. I mean, I've seen a picture of some gold that Ryan got out of this spot. So there's gold here. You just got to find it. But like with most spots in Wisconsin and probably most of the Midwest, you're just not going to find gobs and gobs. You got to try to find a little bit of a streak anyway. Get some of that stuff out of there. And The first actual thing I'm looking for is black sand. And on a note, that first pan I had hardly had any at all. And the same goes to show with this pan. However, I do see a piece of gold. Actually, I see a few pieces of gold in there. Let me get this all shined up and we'll take a look at it. I see a whole bunch. Video update. Rigby's still on the hunt. Here's the results from our second test pan right here. Look at there. I think there's 4 or 5 in there. Oh, I ran out of focus. Right there. There's a little bit bigger one. Not, I wouldn't say big by any means, but it's bigger than those 3 right there. They're 4. So we got 5 or 6 pieces in there. That's encouraging. And that is only 2 shovels deep underneath this rock right here. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to keep moving around and maybe look a little bit deeper, left, right. Who knows? Rigby will find it sooner or later. Back in a bit. So we did. We went down just a little bit deeper and I found a little bit bigger piece. Right there. And there's a couple of absolute minute, minus 400 trillion pieces in there. But that one jumped right out at me. So I think we're, I don't know if we're in the spot or not, but there's definitely gold to be had here. And that is 3 pans deep under that rock right there. So what I'm going to do, and P.S., there's still absolutely no black sand in this stuff at all. I think I'm going to try to locate some black sand and see if it's associated with the gold in this area, which I don't know why it wouldn't be. It is everywhere else in the whole of the universe. Maybe we'll work around some of these bigger rocks in here, and I might slide. If you'll notice how the material on this inside bend goes from light sand to cobbles right there. I might try down in there just a little bit. It's it looks like a couple of feet deep down in there, but I still think I can get my shovel down in there and get a few pans filled up. Maybe I can locate a little bit better gold and some more black sand. And I might wipe Rigby down with a little bit of bug juice because the mosquitoes out here are absolutely ferocious. Now I've got some 100% DEET on, so I'm fine. But they sure like his mutton chops over there. So I might give him just a little bit of rub down so he's a little more comfortable. Let the games begin. All right, I'm gonna go take a look at what Ryan's got going over here now. He's using a great big huge Batea pan. I've seen them on TV in a couple of different channels. And he said he's got a few pieces in there, absolutely. Look down in there. There's some gold showing up. Now he said he got down just a little bit deeper, maybe to some better material possibly. So I have noticed over here in my spot that the deeper I went, well, I found that one bigger piece. And the next spot I went to, I didn't find anything up on the top, but look at there's probably, oh cripes, I bet you there's 15 pieces in there, and they look like pretty darn good pieces to me all day long. Come on, you get focusing. That's some great camera work. But there's some gold in there to be had. So I think we're gonna get dialed in here and we should have something cool to show today. Rigby's got a little bit of juice on his face now, no more bugs. That's right, but it tastes horrible. So let's get back to it. All right, Rigby says, let's think out of the box a little bit. So we're going to. We moved off of the creek, up into the woods, in and amongst all these boulders. You can see scattered about everywhere. Everywhere in here, boulders, boulders, boulders. Now Ryan previously came and took that big boulder out of there. And he showed me a pretty good looking pan he got out of there with a nice, a decent sized piece. So I thought maybe I'd come up here and see if I could follow in his footsteps, so to speak, and get a sample out of there myself. That stuff is absolutely muck and full of clay and full of yuck. Take a smell. Blech. But there is a good amount of gravel and decent sized cobbles mixed in with that stuff, as you can see. So heck, maybe he's onto something here. Let me fill that up all the way and we'll go down and pan it out. And the gold from outside the box. Well, there isn't any. But that's not to say there isn't any gold in and amongst that stuff in there. We did, however, find gold in the water, perhaps just being concentrated in the areas I typically would look. And I think what we're going to do is maybe dig just a little bit deeper in this hole here that I have been having some luck in, just to see if the gold gets any better. And then I think we might take a little hike downstream here a little ways and see if there's anything spectacular that jumps out at us. Because after all, we are prospecting today. We're not mining. Back in a bit. Well, video update number 22,003.4. The gold was pretty consistent where we were. It wasn't the best. It wasn't poor for these parts. But it was just kind of consistent. Like I said, we're just prospecting today, so we decided to move downstream ways. We came across this spot right here. As you can see in the water, it's all boulders. Everywhere, boulders, boulders, boulders. And working in areas like this is extremely hard to get down to any kind of a pay layer, just because when you get an extreme flood situation, all the gold is going to settle in between all these boulders as the material is churning up. And unless it hits bedrock or a clay layer or something flat down there it can't penetrate, you're just not going to be able to find the really good concentrations of gold. So I think I may try it maybe in a spot like somewhere in there where perhaps that rock may have been laying flat at one point in time or another. Who knows? Just to see if I can get down through some of these boulders and down to a possible clay layer or something. And I still haven't located any amount of black sand anywhere. But who knows? This might be the spot. Let me grab my gear out of the truck and we'll see if we can poke around here a little bit. Well, let's do some testing. The rig bomb, he stopped right here. So I've just been looking for anywhere in here where you can see any kind of material at all down in between these boulders here that I can get at. And it's proven to be quite tough. So I settled on this area right here. It looks like there's a pretty good sand deposit at least in there. And I got just a little bit of sand out of there and it doesn't look very promising. And out pops this little bitty shovel right here. Somebody else has been down here monkeying around. Pretty handy little shovel right there. It's been in there a little while anyway. It's starting to get a decent amount of rust on there, but it's solid. I think I could still use that baby. Pretty sweet. So let me get a big shovel full out of there and see if there's anything else in there. Back in a bit. Well, there is no black sand here whatsoever. And no gold as of yet. Now, I can't stress enough how absolutely critical it is to get down underneath and down to something that's going to stop the gold and the black sands from going any further. And then, like I said, areas like this, it's going to be near impossible without some kind of a suction dredge or whatever. This might be a good spot for my hand dredge, if even that will get down through these boulders, because who knows how deep they are down in this water. So I have yet to get any material that I want yet. So I don't think this is going to be the area for just using a shovel, even that shovel. So I think we're going to move downstream a little bit further, see if we can't find some gravel bar deposits, etc. Back in a bit. Well, it didn't take long. Just a short walk down the creek here, and it's a noticeably different atmosphere. As you can see, there are a number of gravel deposits, nice high gravel deposits too, and nice black looking rocks. Doesn't look like they've been turned or churned up in quite some time. And there's moss growing on them, which tells me nobody else has been on them for, you know, who knows how long. And I can see down there quite a ways. There's noticeably less boulders in the woods. So I think we stand a better chance here of getting down to a pay layer or pay streak, if you will. So let me grab my stuff and clear some of this brush out of here and we'll take a couple sample pans out of this stuff here and maybe right up out of that gravel bar right over there. Now, as you can see, this is off the main channel there just a little bit, if you can call it a channel. And then it smashes right into that one and then curves back this way. So who knows, one of these might be better than the other. We're gonna find out right now. Two little tiny micros. That's just in the top couple inches there. And as you can see, I dug up some lighter little branches right there, so it's not accumulating the heaviest of the heavies here by any means. And still, no black sand. The hunt continues. Hey, video update. I finally found my first real glimpse of any black sand at all, right there. And along with that came that piece of gold right there. A little bit bigger one and a little bit smaller one right next to it there. Not too darn bad. Now what I did is I just assumed that I was gonna have to get down deeper, so I took 3 more shovels out of there and I just put them right off to the side. I didn't even pan them. And the next shovel after that, I took and threw it in my pan, and that's what we got. So I'm gonna dig down a little bit deeper in that hole. I still haven't hit any clay yet, but things are looking up. That's a nice little piece of gold right there. I might have to bring my sucker tube back here sometime. Look at that big sluice box. Back in a bit. All right, he's still grinding away with his Batea pan, and he's still finding some gold. There's some nice pieces in there. A whole bunch of little micros. So we're doing well. I mean, we're not going to fill up a vial today, but we're still having fun. This is what it's about for me anyway.
And like I said, it's like better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick.
Yeah, anyway. And I have poked my eye out with a stick. So we're gonna keep grinding here. Back in a bit. All right, you guys are in for a real treat. Ryan offered up his big Batea pan here, and I thought, you know what, I've never tried one. Let's go ahead and try one. And I was fortunate enough on that shovelful right there to hit the clay layer. Finally found the clay layer here. Here it is right here. Now it's kind of a brown clay. It's not that blue or gray that I'm used to over in the western part of the state, but it's clay nonetheless. And I have gotten a few pieces of gold out of here so far, so let's see if we can't try our luck at this Batea pan. Now he has given me a little bit of instruction here. First I'm going to break up that clay a little bit, like such, and kind of wheedle some of the bigger rocks out of there, like that. Now I want to make sure that material's all stratified all the way down in the bottom, because down in the bottom there's like a little hole that theoretically catches your gold, and from what I've seen so far, this pan absolutely does catch the gold. All right, now I think I've got that material classified or stratified enough where I can actually start working some of the lighter material out of the pan. Now you guys don't laugh at me here. This is my first try at one of these. So I'm just going to take it real slow and try to get some of those larger rocks out of there. Now I'm sure if there's black sand and gold that I'm not washing it out doing this. Matter of fact, I'm pretty confident I'm not being aggressive enough. Let me get that stuff really moving around now. There we go. When I watch Ryan do it, it looks quite easy. And I'm sure he wants to grab my hands right now and do it for me. But he's kind enough to just let me do it. I'm going to stratify that up again, give it a little stir. As you can see, there's still some clay mixed in with that. On some of the videos I've watched, it just looks like those guys labor so much, but when you get this thing in the water, it kind of floats, and really you're only moving it in a circle or left and right for that matter. But I do feel like I'm getting the hang of it a little bit. But I'll get a little bit more aggressive now. And I'll give her one more of them just to make sure there's no clay in that hole. And I think I'm going to take this right to town now. Just like such. How am I doing, Ryan?
You're getting there.
Let me get some of these bigger rocks out of there. There we go. Now here's the tricky part. I'm kind of lost now. I mean, it really does take some practice. Hopefully I'm not losing too many big nuggets. And that's about as far as I think I want to go. So what I can do is I can actually pan some of that stuff out of there. Get it all back down in the bottom. And he kind of showed me I can just take a little bit of water like such. And I'm seeing some garnet sand in there actually, some red garnet sand in here. And there is a fair amount of black sand in there. I haven't spotted any gold yet. I'm not sure if I'm doing this right or not. Hey, hey, hey. Definitely takes some practice.
Like anything else.
But yeah, there's a piece. There's a little piece right there, a little tiny micro. Well, I'm sure somebody with experience with one of these would have got a little bit more gold. But hey, it's nice to try new things. And it was fun. Now back to my XP pan. Thanks, Ryan.
You're welcome.
It's getting hot. We're taking a 5-er. Thought I'd do a little snuffer dump. Here's what we got so far. It's not gobs of gold by any means, but there's a solid number of pieces in there. A couple of them bigger than their neighbor. I'm happy with that. This is a great little spot here. Well, got it all to himself, well, ourselves now.
It's our spot now, right?
Yep. Just like my mushroom spot. But anyway, we're on the gold a little bit. We're doing okay. I'm really enjoying myself. I really appreciate you inviting me out.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's find another spot maybe.
All right, let's do it.
P.S. Before I forget, he's showing me his and I'm showing him mine. I brought him a bag of black poison, Lake Superior black sand with gold.
Awesome.
I appreciate you inviting me along.
Thank you, my friend.
You're going to really enjoy that.
Oh, boy. All right.
All right, let's go find some more gold.
Awesome.
Well, I thought I had it made with a gold shop. He's got a gold trailer. He's got a dredge in there. All kinds of stuff. I tell you what, he means business. Well, we're at our new location. After I got my truck stuck, Ryan had to pull me out. Well, we made it, nonetheless. Now we got 2 creeks, 1, 2, coming together, and they meet right here and head off down into the wilderness that way. Rigby's out here enjoying the water, starting to heat up, and he likes it. So it's in here, run-of-the-mill creek, I guess, including all the flies here, horse flies everywhere. So I think what we're going to do is try to work in and amongst some of these boulders we got scattered about here. And a thing of note, we got a great big huge log. That's an old cedar tree right there. So I don't know when it got laid down, but I would imagine quite some time ago, judging by how old it looks. And them things last forever under the water. So I think I'm going to grab a couple of pans from random locations along the back side, maybe the front side of this here log, and we might call her quits for today. Let's see if we can find some more gold. All right, pan number one, right from the back side of that log right there, right in between those rocks, right in front of the creek on the right. Left, right. Look at there. There's about 7 little pieces in there. Really tiny, but that's pretty darn good nonetheless. I mean, that was just right off the top. Let's see if we can't get down in there a little bit further. Maybe there's something bigger to be had. Well, a little video update. Rigby's over there in the shade laying down. We're still grinding away. We're finding a little bit here, a little bit there. And I found a whole shovel full of really cool rocks. These all came out of one darn shovel full right here. Look at them. All different colors. Really cool. This one here has almost got some translucent aspects to it, along with some of these here. Look at that. That all came out of one shovel full down there. And you got this bad boy here. Very cool. I haven't done a Chris Lilly Rock of the Week in a while. I figured I might as well do a whole bunch. Sometimes I mail them, sometimes I don't. Here's for you, Chris Lilly. Come on, get. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for the episode today. The black flies or the horse flies are absolutely insane. They're not biting you, but they fly in every hole in your body. Agreed?
Agreed.
We both found some pretty good gold today. We both have better spots than the ones we were at today, but it's nice just to get out and locate new spots. Who's to say there isn't a really good place on this body of water here somewhere? I mean, there's miles and miles and miles. Important thing is just to get out there and look. So until the next episode, like, share, subscribe. Please do leave a comment. Check out my Patreon page in the description box below. Flower Gold Wizards and Ryan out.